Here's a condensed version, around 5,000 characters, same story and voice, compressed for a quick read. I knew something was wrong the moment the receptionist would not meet my eyes. My phone buzzed with a cold, all-caps meeting request. 9:15. No explanation. After 12 straight quarters of growth and a $30 million deal I had personally closed, that kind of vague summons only meant one thing. I took the long way to the meeting room, watching coworkers suddenly find their shoes fascinating. One man I had mentored for years ducked into a supply closet rather than face me. Before walking in, I stopped at my desk and pulled out my original contract, the one with a clause I had quietly renegotiated the year before. My initials were still there, next to my managers and the chief executives. My insurance policy. I slid it into my bag and walked into the room ready. Inside sat my manager, Denise, flanked by 2 silent human resources reps. No laptops, no reports, just a single printed page. She told me my position was being eliminated, effective immediately, approved by leadership, meaning the chief executive, Grant, who had not bothered to show his face. I nodded, said I understood, and handed over my badge without protest. What none of them realized was that firing me one day before my bonus vested did not cancel it. It triggered a clause that doubled the payout and added damages. They would learn that soon. Instead of leaving the building, I rode the elevator up to legal and found an associate counsel named Marcus, someone I had once mentored. I handed him the annotated contract. He read the clause twice, his face sharpening. "This is airtight," he said. "If you were terminated within 24 hours of vesting without documented cause, they owe you double plus damages." I told him Denise had signed the implementation memo months earlier, time-stamped and backed up in 3 places. "They thought firing me a day early voided the bonus," he said. It actually triggered it. By afternoon, panic had spread through the building. Denise scrambled for any prior warning or write-up that could justify the firing. There was none, because I had never given her a reason to build one. Meanwhile, senior counsel, a sharp woman named Charlotte, received the same documentation and immediately escalated it. I spent the rest of the day at a quiet coffee shop nearby, watching my phone. A message arrived from Charlotte, cold and clipped, confirming the clause had been received. Back at the office, she slid the packet across the table to Grant. "She is bluffing," he said. "She is not bluffing," Charlotte answered. "She is executing." Denise insisted they had only fired me to save money. Charlotte told her flatly that they had not saved anything. They had activated the exact protection I built for this moment. By the next morning, the number had grown far past the original bonus once every multiplier and penalty was calculated, climbing past $6 million. Grant suggested a quiet settlement. Charlotte reminded him I had never asked for one, never requested mediation, only submitted proof and gone silent. That silence terrified them more than any lawsuit could have. A board member named Nathaniel called me directly that evening. He asked if I had meant to trigger the clause. I told him they terminated me, and I had simply made sure I left a trail. He admitted it was some of the cleanest protection he had ever seen written into a contract. I told him I learned from good mentors, some of them on his own board. Within days, the board voted to settle rather than risk arbitration exposing the entire timeline. Denise resigned quietly. Grant was reassigned to a department with no real budget and no real power, a soft landing that fooled no one. I never returned their calls afterward. 2 weeks later, a rival firm flew me out. Not for a job, but for a full partnership. The final settlement landed on a Tuesday evening, while I sat by a rooftop pool. The skyline stretched out in front of me. Just over $6.5 million. I did not open the non-disclosure agreement right away. I already knew every word it contained. Instead, I opened my messages, found the old number for the board chair, and sent one line with no explanation, along with a photo of the skyline behind me. They thought a locked conference room could erase 12 years of work in a single morning. What it actually cost them was almost $7 million, and every ounce of leverage they thought they still had. I did not burn the bridge on my way out. I walked across it, sold the land underneath, and sent them the bill for the ashes. If this story kept you hooked until the end, let me know in the comments and hit that subscribe button, because more stories like this one are still coming.